All right. Well, welcome to the ICM Competence Cohort session number 4. Hey, we have gone through session number one was clarity. Number 2 was compassion. Number 3 was connection. And today we are dealing with competence. So, Danelle, hey, welcome and thanks for being here. Let's talk about competence. What do you want to tell us today and teach us? Let's go.
Well, let's start first with understanding competence. So, what is competence, right? So, competence is a capacity for growth, but it's combined with our knowledge, our skills, our gifts, and our abilities. So, it's not just that we know things, it's all of these things that are combined in that growth that give us competence. So it's not just about what we know or what we do well, but it's also this willingness to keep like learning, to keep growing, that willingness to be coachable in a sense
Mm,
as well. Um,
okay.
it's not a fixed state. It's not a place where you arrive to,
Mm,
but it is a place of continuing to grow, continuing to learn, continuing to practice. It's it's our confidence grows when we learn, do, and grow. And that's
yeah.
all part of competence to learn,
Yeah.
to do it, and grow. So, as we gain skills, as we gain knowledge, we take action on those things, we do those things. Your confidence grows because you're still learning as you're doing. And sometimes confidence grows more when we start taking those actions. Um, and then when we experience things new, that grows our competence as well. And so when our competence grows, that strengthens our confidence. And I always say
Yeah.
this, it's not about perfection, it's about
Mm,
progress.
okay. Love that. So it's picking up, it's not just reading something. It's not just learn. I'm thinking about playing guitar. Okay. It's not just thinking about watching YouTube videos on how to play guitar. It's actually picking it up, going through the process of learning, doing, and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our gifts and abilities help with that process too. It's that
Yeah.
whole combination.
Great. So,
So
uh, yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you a question,
Oh,
Scott.
okay.
When was a time when you felt competent and it boosted your confidence?
Hmm.
How
Okay.
did that competence make a difference for you?
Okay. I didn't know you were going to ask this, so that's okay because I've had one of these recently, which is interesting. Sometimes you think, gosh, as you age, things slow down, but sometimes they don't. I mean, I'm super excited about learning new things and doing new things, but interesting enough, in my prayer life, uh, God spoke, and that doesn't happen very often for me. I'll just be honest. I mean, I read, I pray. God spoke a word to me, and I watched that word come to pass in front of me. And it included someone else, and that person came to me and talked to me, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is almost like deja vu. But it was God had told me this is what's going to happen, and that person showed up and did this. And I walked away from that blown away that I got to be a part of that, that God would trust me with that. And you're talking about increasing your prayer life all of a sudden and and doing a little happy dance every once. I mean, for a moment, it's like, gosh, that just happened. I usually hear stories about that. I'm not the part of the story. I'm the one reading the story. But for that short period of time, and it was just 2 days. He gave me this on like a Tuesday and like a Thursday. The guy spoke, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got that. That was just grace, and I'm humbled. I'm not bragging about that, but that's the first thing that comes to mind when you ask me that. It's like God gave me just this moment where He spoke and said, "This is going to happen," and it did, and that blows me away. That allows me or moves me to continue to do what I did. that I was doing before that, because I had no no reason to think that was going to happen. Of course, it hasn't happened again. I don't know if it will, but
Yeah,
it definitely encouraged and increased my confidence, my Godfidence.
confidence.
Yeah, in Him. So that would be my answer to that. How about that? That's what I got for you.
Well, it's a great answer because it leads to the next part of it,
Does it?
where, yeah,
Yeah.
where our competence also comes from God. God equips us with confidence,
Yes, He
right?
does.
And so
Yes.
in Second Corinthians 3, 4 through 5, it talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
Such confidence we have through Christ before God, not that we are confident in ourselves to claim
Mm-hmm.
anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God.
Yes, it does. Yes. Yeah.
And that
So
seems to be what you experience.
I did. And in that little section of scripture that you're referencing, in that same chapter, that verse 6, it comes after 5 for real. It says the Spirit gives life. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, that tells right into competence and confidence, because it's in this life. When we live it by the Spirit, we're constantly learning, doing, and growing in new ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you need to keep reading to 6, because that sounds
Yes.
pretty good
That's
too.
that's that's what I would recommend. Just read 6. But this is a great, I mean, it literally says our competence comes from God. So there you go.
Well, and you can see stories throughout the Bible as well where it says he equipped them for
Hmm.
such a time as this, right?
This
Different
exactly.
times that they were going through, he equipped them with what their abilities, their knowledge, their wisdom, the divine insight, all those things for those times.
Yes, I agree. Yep. Good stuff.
So, what helps grow our confidence? Let's talk about those. So, we
Mm,
got 3 strategies we can go
yes.
through. The
Yep.
first one is challenge your growth with curiosity. So, approach life with this curious mindset. It's an open mindset. Ask questions and have a willingness to learn. There's this um, quote or saying going around that says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes. I'm usually not in the wrong room, trust me. So, yeah.
But that's that challenge, you
Hmm.
you get yourself around people that know more than you, and it challenges your growth. Now we can become defeated by that of, we go inside and we're like, oh, I'm not as smart as they are. I don't
Hmm.
know enough as they do. I
Hmm.
don't know how to do it like they do. And we get defeated, or we approach that with curiosity and an open mind and begin asking questions and this willingness to learn,
There
and
you
it
go.
will help you grow
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
that.
I agree, man. I see that and I know that, but I got to tell you, I was thinking about this when I was looking at this, and it's like there's so many people who already know.
Mhm.
Their mind is not open to a lot of things, and it's become very closed minded, and it's hard to grow when it's closed like that. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and that's a hard place. And I look across our culture, and it just appears that if there's a lot of closed and defensive mindsets that are not curious and open right now. So, you know, just have to pray that your mind stays open and curious. I think that's a beautiful mindset to grow in our competency. Absolutely.
So let's compare that. When you keep your mind closed,
Hmm.
you get self defeated and your confidence drops. When you keep your mind open, you learn, you grow, your confidence strengthens.
Yes, absolutely. That's what you want. You never know it all. You just don't. So, and I think if you have that humility and walk in that humility, the Spirit teaches you. We'll go back to Spirit gives life. Back in that Second Corinthians verse, it just gives
Mm,
life. So as you're walking in the Spirit, it's going to teach you. and help you be curious about things that are new in your own walk in your own journey of confidence.
There is life in that. That's so
Yeah,
good, Scott.
thanks. That's a good thing. Yeah.
We'll take the God things. They're pretty
Hmm.
good things.
They are real good things. Yes, they are.
Okay, the second one, give yourself permission to fail. See failure as a necessary part of growth. How has failure helped you, Scott?
I'm a perfectionist. I don't like failure. Okay. So I don't like to fail. And that's so wrong because we're fixing to talk about hesitation down later. Just a little tease. I would rather hesitate. I am known to hesitate because I want to know all the answers before I move. But God is teaching me just move. And if you fail, you still moved forward. It's still a step forward. Even if you fail, he can take that failure and turn it into growth, which that's not my mindset. I mean, if you're okay, if you go back to playing sports, your coach did not want you to fail. That wasn't acceptable. You had to make the block, you had to make the catch, you had to make the hit, you had to do whatever was right, make the point, make the free throw. Failure is not an option. So it's hard to change that mindset from you got to make the free throw to it's okay to take the free throw, and if you miss, pick it back up and let's do it again. Let's get 500 makes in one day before you quit, and that starts to build your capacity. That allows you to grow. That's part of your growth process. So
Yeah, how
failure is getting to be
many
real.
free throws failed before the game time mattered?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, none. Right? None of the misses mattered before the game. All the practice shots are those are free
Right.
unless they get in your head, right? But on the
Yeah.
game, when the game goes, that's where the practice pays off, right? Yeah.
One thing I always say, it's only failure if you don't learn from it.
There you go. Yeah.
Then it remains a failure. Otherwise, it's just another opportunity to learn. It's another opportunity to grow.
Mm-hmm.
That comes from willingness to learn from what we would say as failure. But what if
Mm-hmm.
instead of failure, we call it teachable moments?
Yeah. That's much better. Yeah. That sounds so much better. You make a
Well,
great
you
coach.
well, you think about children growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this example because I have a child development background. And one of the things with teachers is you're teaching these kids to learn things and they're growing as they learn things, right? So you think about little kids and they're learning to transition from a sippy cup to a regular cup. And how messy is that? And how many times do they fail at that, right? So
Yeah.
you take that opportunity and you don't condemn them for it of, oh, you spilt it again. You make it a teachable moment. Okay, so it spilled. Now what do you do? Well, this is how we clean it up. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to clean it up this way. So what caused it to spill? Did you use one hand or two hands? Okay, next time you're going to use two hands and see how that works for you. And it becomes a teachable moment where you learn and grow. And we have to do that with ourselves. When something, when we make a mess, when something doesn't work out like we hoped
Mm-hmm.
or expected, we can either see that as failure and start our self beat up process
Mm-hmm.
by condemning ourselves, or we can look at it as a teachable moment and go back and reflect on it of what worked, what didn't work, what would I do differently next time. And you see those self-reflection questions throughout the handout that
Mm-hmm.
each person has to follow through as they practice these confidence strategies. They do self-reflection instead of self beat up as an
Yeah.
opportunity to grow
To grow. Yeah. That's
through
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And you
give
just
yourself that permission to fail.
permission, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Man, I love this. So, teachable moments. Yeah, you had one of those recently?
So I would say that um, learning to network with people is a teachable moment.
Mm,
And, I've stated this before, networking has shifted for me in a sense of more about building genuine connections than just networking and meeting people for referrals, right? Um, so in that is when you're connecting with people, when you're talking with people, everyone's different, everyone's unique. It's not a one size fits all. So what I may talk with someone in one sense may not be how I would talk with someone in another sense. And so after I met with people, talked with them, had conversations with them, I don't know about you, Scott, but sometimes I would walk away from that and go, oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that, or I should have said that, or done that differently, and you kind of like start, you know, getting hard on yourself
hmm
about it. Well, in
hmm
those situations, for me, I walk away. And when I feel myself drifting into the should haves, I start
hmm
reflecting. Okay, this conversation went really well with this person in this direction about that. Where I noticed it wasn't going well was here. Great.
hmm
Make note of that. We're going to do that differently next time.
Next time. There you go. Absolutely. Good, good teachable moment. But yeah, same.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good job.
But
Growing
that
in the
is not
competence.
just in networking. That is something you can take in all your conversations. I mean, have you done that, Scott, where you've had a conversation with someone and walked away and like, oh, could have done
Like
that better?
like yesterday. Yes. 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 Like yesterday. Yes, all the time. But I think it's a matter of reflecting and being it, not being hard on yourself, but learning from it. It's a little bit of a failure, a teachable moment, but as you go through those, hopefully you're learning, you're growing because you're doing things differently, and that helps you grow, and it grows in
You're going
your.
to do things differently because you reflected on it.
hmm Yeah.
So, with competence means taking action, it means doing.
hmm
And in the doing, you have to go back and reflect on that to continue growing.
Right. Because when you're reflecting, okay, I hope I'm saying this right, but when you're reflecting, you're changing your thoughts about that. And your thoughts
Exactly.
drive your actions, right? You're learning, which is your thoughts, and your thoughts will drive your actions, and your actions will drive your growth. So, yep.
Yeah. Reflection is learning.
There you go.
All right. The next strategy, learn from inner guidance. I
Mm,
like this one.
yeah.
uh,
Okay. I
Pay
gotta.
attention to what's going on inside of you. So you brought it up, thoughts, right? Thoughts create actions.
Yes.
So pay attention to those thoughts, those
hmm
feelings, those nudges, that inner gut knowing, which I tend to lean towards that gut knowing is that
Yeah.
voice of the spirit.
Yes.
So pay attention to those. How
hmm
has that helped you?
That's scary sometimes because we don't know if is that really God saying that, or is that the Spirit saying that, or is that just Scott having a moment and thinking through it? And I think sometimes it's okay just to do it and see where it goes. And if that puts me back into a failure or a teachable moment, then that's okay. Then I
Yeah.
can discern that next time and go, okay, that was Scott. That was not Jesus talking. That was not the Spirit talking to me. That was Scott talking to me. Didn't work out the way I thought it was. But then there's going to be this time when the Spirit does talk to you, like I was saying in my earlier moment, that you take action on that and you go, okay, that was the right thing to do. Okay. So I think, yeah, that inner guidance. But you have, and I know this is a ladies' ministry, but you just put in feelings.
Yeah.
Guys don't do feelings very well, do we? You know that. So how can our audience, not your audience, our audience, do this with, I'll say with their husband, if they're trying to do this, take their feelings and use this some inner guidance and they bounce that off their husband, then what's their husband probably going to say?
Feeling people, get a little hesitant on feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to act on your feelings. You don't want to bombard somebody with your feelings. But more than anything, though, it's just paying attention to those feelings because feelings are messengers. They are telling you something. We
Mm-hmm.
were created with feelings for a reason, and
Exactly.
they're
Yeah.
not to be dismissed. They're to be paid attention to. What
Yeah.
are they trying to tell you? And feelings can be difficult to go through and share with your spouse or other people. And sometimes that's where it's best to get a counselor or somebody to help you learn how to work through that and figure out what are they telling you or how you can communicate that in new ways or better ways with each other. But they are messengers. They are telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Absolutely.
get into a mess when we start dismissing those, when we start
That's,
pretending like they're not there.
yeah.
Um, so I would say, start with journaling those feelings
Mm-hmm.
first
Yeah.
and, write out those feelings that you feel kind of rising up in you.
Mm-hmm.
And then ask, what are they trying to tell me? And that is difficult. You just start writing what comes to mind. But I will say, when we are getting into our feelings, sometimes it's best to reach for help to walk through those, but don't dismiss them. What
Okay.
are they trying to tell you about whatever that situation is?
And this is competence. This is growth, right?
It is growth.
So a lot of times we would have maybe taken those feelings and just boxed them up and put them away. But in this process, where we want to grow, then we're going to have to not put them in the box and take them out and kind of explore what it is and what it's like dealing with our feelings. And as we deal with those, our confidence with our feelings starts to, we learn, grow, and do. And then that starts to change our confidence when we have those feelings uh, come up.
It's just another opportunity for you to approach that with an open mind and curiosity,
Yeah, absolutely. Great word.
where growth happens, right? Open mind,
Mm-hmm.
curiosity, willingness to learn. Same applies to feelings. Approach it with an open mind, curiosity, and this willingness to learn from what they're saying.
Very good. I like that. That's good. Those are three great strategies. So we covered curiosity, permission to fail, and listening to our inner guidance, if you will.
Yes. So I get to ask you one more
Oh, what's up with
question.
this? Yeah. Okay.
You talked about hesitation, right? You gave a sneak peek to hesitation.
I did.
So, what is one simple action as a coach, Scott? And this can
Mm-hmm.
be from a man's perspective, coaching men. This may
Mm-hmm.
help with spouses.
Mm-hmm.
What is one simple action to increase your competence and move past that hesitation?
Um, it's take. I've learned this. You don't have to take a big step. Uh, I'm starting to use the term micro step. Just take a small micro step in a direction. Don't stand there flat-footed. Do something. And it can be a small step where it's if it doesn't go the right direction, you can retract, you can recover. Don't take one huge step out there. But I encourage my guys, hey, if you're really, really stuck and you really don't know, being stuck is the worst thing that could happen. So
Mm-hmm.
outside of just being still and listening, if you're not being still and listening, let's take one micro step in a direction and let's see what happens. So that would be that's my coaching for guys who are stuck in a particular area. Just take a micro step. And
I
then I
love
would
that
add this.
micro step.
I would say I add this and do it today.
Why today? Why does that matter?
Again, we're waiting. We're hesitant. Don't hesitate anymore. Go. Take, yeah, yeah. Take one small micro step and do it today. And that step may be make the call, do the text, write the email, send, press send, whatever it is, do it and do it today. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good because there's science behind the more
Mm,
you hesitate, right?
okay.
So as soon as we decide to take an action and do something, fear is going to follow behind it.
Yes.
And after
Mm-hmm.
24 to 48 hours, fear gets its hold. So
Okay.
if you could take action within 24 to 48 hours, a micro action, it's not the big step. It's something that moves you towards that big step within 24 to 48 hours. It's a way to overcome fear.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, just recently went through something. A coach, my coach was giving me some things, and at the end of the practice, it was do it now. Whatever
Mm,
you just journaled, do it now. Or it was more like do it today, but do it now. So that moved me to the next step, to the next day. So
past hesitation.
yeah, doesn't give you time. Doesn't give time for fear to capture you and go, maybe I shouldn't do that. Just do it. And you know, I didn't see any bad results. It moved the ball, moved the needle, whatever the terms are, but it did. So yeah, I would say micro step today.
So, micro step, even a micro step can equal growth,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
which
sure.
grows our competence,
Because
then strengthens
I
our
learned,
confidence.
do and go, grow,
Learn,
right?
do, and go.
Yeah. Yep. Uh,
All right,
yeah.
so you heard it from Scott. So now you have to pick one of those strategies
Yeah.
and implement those strategies. Start with a micro step with that
Mm-hmm.
strategy. Do it now and
Mm-hmm.
then reflect on it. What worked well? What didn't work well? What would you do next? What would you do
Yeah.
differently next time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your competence will continue to grow, which will strengthen the confidence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for today. So we'll get
Good
ready
job.
for the next one.
All right. Well done.
All right.
All right. Thanks.